Hello learners, welcome to English 10 class. How are you? I hope you are all doing good. This week, our topic will be identifying key structural elements of arguments. This week, you are expected to define arguments, identify key structural elements of arguments, and write sound arguments. We have a lot of reasons to point out a view or an opinion, to change or persuade others' points of view to accept new ones. These may involve relationship, politics, religion, and the like. Oftentimes, we argue to persuade, to inquire, to convince, to clarify, or to defend an idea or situation. To clearly understand what argument is, let us define it. An argument is a line of reasoning designed to prove a point. It is a statement that you make to persuade your readers to agree with your opinion. This will usually be in the form of a paragraph or several paragraphs, depending on the length of your essay and the importance of the point you are making. Let us now move on with the key structural elements of an argument. All arguments have the same basic framework. The author states some central idea and then presents supporting evidence, laying it out in a logical pattern. The central point of an argument is called the conclusion. It is the point of the main idea of the argument. This is what the author is trying to prove. Each piece of evidence used by the author is called a premise. Premises are the reasons or the evidence that the author gives to support the conclusion. And the way in which the premises are combined is called reasoning. Some common words and phrases in English that indicate the presence of statements functioning as premises are the following: as indicated by, as shown by, assuming that, because, considering that, due to, follows from, for one thing, for the reason that, given that, inasmuch as, in light of, insofar, in that, may be inferred from, on the assumption that, owing to, seeing that, since, and whereas. Examples: you will have difficulty doing well on the test as you haven't studied. Assuming that Kapampangans are one of the best in terms of culinary, we can expect a greater number of visitors in Pampanga from other places. Seeing that you are younger than 25, you have a low risk of heart attack. The words as, assuming that, and seeing that are indicating premises. Some common words and phrases in English that indicate the presence of statements functioning as conclusions are accordingly, as a result, clearly, consequently, demonstrates that, entails that, ergo, follows that, for this reason, hence, implies that, in conclusion, in consequence, it follows that, it must be, the case that, necessarily, therefore, thus, shows that, so, and we may infer. For examples, global warming implies that ocean water levels will rise. We may infer that this sentence illustrates a conclusion indicator. Fido is a dog, so Fido is a mammal. The words implies that, we may infer that, and so are expressions indicating the presence of conclusion. Remember, If an argument has no indicators at all, then good English style suggests that the topic sentence of the paragraph is the conclusion of the argument. Remember this formula. Argument is conclusion plus reason or premise. Let us have examples. Argument 1. Prohibited drugs should be banned because they are harmful to one's physical, mental, social, and emotional being. The premise is they are harmful to one's physical, mental, social, and emotional being. Conclusion: prohibited drugs should be banned. Argument 2. You will have difficulty doing well on the test as you haven't studied. Premise: you haven't studied. Conclusion: you will have difficulty doing well on the test. Argument 3. Seeing that you are younger than 25, you have a low risk of a heart attack. Premise: you are younger than 25. Conclusion: you have a low risk of a heart attack. Last example. If he'd been perfectly innocent, he would have been arrested. But he was arrested, and you've seen that suspicious smirk on his face. Therefore, he's not innocent. Here, we have several premises which are logically stated. Premise 1. If he'd been perfectly innocent. Premise 2. He wouldn't have been arrested. Premise 3. He was arrested. Premise 4. You've seen that suspicious smirk on his face. Conclusion: he's not innocent. An argument may present several premises or reasons to support the conclusion. I hope the examples that I have presented have been clearly understood by everyone. Here are the additional tips in formulating an argument. Have a clear standpoint. Make sure that your audience knows what your opinion is. Present a logical sequence of reasons for your argument so that it is easy to follow. Provide supporting arguments and evidence to strengthen your view. If you refer to other people's opinions, you can contrast them with your own. Make sure to reformulate your arguments so the audience hears it one more time. Lastly, summarize your main points at the end of your argument. Let us have a short quiz about the topic. Identify the indicators used in the passage. Let me read it. I strongly believe that perseverance is one of the ingredients to succeed in school. For example, you must keep going even things get tough or harder in school. It is trying out to do well and better at something, even if it means sacrificing few hours of play and sometimes rest. You would agree if you knew that with perseverance, you can check what else you can do. You may start seeing yourself in a new perspective of greater things and accomplishments than before, because you form it as part of your system. You might argue that being in school is too tough, especially nowadays we are in this pandemic crisis. In fact, perseverance is a new, good, and positive mindset. It is telling yourself you can do it. If there will be errors or mistakes, it is okay. That's part of learning. Clearly, it is significant for learners like you to keep these ingredients as part of your system to succeed in school. I will give you 10 seconds to find the 6 expressions or indicators used in the passage. Your timer starts now. Number 1, I strongly believe. Number 2, for example. Number 3, you would agree if. Number 4, you might argue that. Number 5, in that. And number 6, clearly. Well done, dear students. Now this time, using the same example, let us examine how the expressions are used in the passage. Number 1, strongly believe expresses opinion. For example, shows evidence. You would agree shows evidence. You might argue that is a counter argument. In that is a premise. And clearly is conclusion. That's it. Did you understand our lesson? Alright. Now for your test, you are going to accomplish the following tasks indicated in the given template. You may submit your outputs in our Google Classroom or in school during the retrieval day. That's it for today. I hope you learned from the discussion. For clarification and inquiries, you may reach me in my Facebook account. With Mumsy, English is fun. See you next time. Keep safe and God bless.